This is your daily market recap for Tuesday, May 3rd, 2022. Let's go. Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well. This is Dan Max at EXPI Realty, aka the Trading Agent, and this is your daily market recap for Tuesday, May 3rd, 2022. Let's get into it. As always, we start on the Discord room. We're going over some of the earnings after hours, like AMD and Lyft, Herbalife. There's a bunch of them, Airbnb, Starbucks. Point being is, if you are newer to the channel and you want to come join us in the Discord room, always posting relevant information, trade ideas, trade setups, what to expect for the future days, trying to keep a finger on the pulse of the markets through the best lens possible. Please check it out. It's definitely worth it. Also subscribe. I guarantee you will learn a ton. We have tons of videos. Posted this today, back to basics video on the XOP trade. That was for a scalp. It worked for about an hour, but again, just the mentality of how to get in, get out, how to layer into trades. Again, there's so much information in trading that if you don't have a mentor or someone helping you, it's like pretend you got your, you want to trade real estate and you don't even have a license. Like you're fighting against people who just know what's going on. So I hope that helps. Here to help. And again, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. Let's do this. Bitcoin, it's teetering. It's just teetering on the edge of this trend line. I don't have very good feelings about it. My feelings sometimes, what they are, or emotions, aren't always right. However, I will say this action just doesn't feel right because I want to see this hold. And again, as we've talked about, and people who know start realizing, like, Bitcoin has become synonymous with market risk on, not market risk off. That should be scary if you're a Bitcoin long-term holder, because you don't want to see it bullish. Like, you want to see it counter the market, not go with the market. Like, that's true leadership in my estimate, whether it's bullish or bearish, meaning for the long run as a currency. Like, it shouldn't matter if the Nasdaq's down or the market's down. Like, it needs to act better and hold up. I mean, I would say oil and gold materials have been holding up 1,000 times better, even though they're subject to liquidation breaks coming up as well. They've been holding up a ton better. TLT, gap up. All right, we're going into a Fed meeting. Let's just take a pause for a second, because I should have started this earlier. Tomorrow is the Fed day. What are we expecting? Up, down, chop all over. Keep in mind, we have a Friday jobs number, usually a doji. What should you have in your mind? And it's exactly what I repeated previously. Trade the extremes. If you have to trade the extremes. If not, take Monday, Tuesday, even Wednesday off, because I don't think the action tomorrow will really lead us. I mean, you'll get the headlines, and what we've noticed, and Eric has talked about this, and something that I've noticed too the last couple years with FOMC meetings, now that everyone's trying to trade them and front run them and trade the reaction, as we talk about trade the reaction, the real reaction doesn't happen to Thursday. Keep that in the back of your mind. Like, if you have a short or a long and it looks really great on Wednesday, believe that it has more upside if Thursday confirms it. That's all I can really say on that, because if it doesn't, then it's a trap, and it's a bigger trap. And the way that, and again, the market is evolving to trap people, and I tell people that all the time. Think of this as a casino game that is trying to take all of your money, and the algorithms and the market makers are working together to make sure that you, the player, ultimately loses. Now, you might get rich, and you might get lucky. Trust me, I've been there. We all know a lot of people have, or you just have bad luck and you get broke immediately. You don't know what's going on, and you don't assume that the market's trying to actually take your money, then at some point you're going to be bullish or bearish at the wrong time and absolutely get wiped out. That's not the goal here. The goal here is to survive and thrive. And again, surviving means losing, taking losses, stops, tight stops. All right. TLT gapped up today, closed at the lows. We are at the 200 month. I mean, this is crazy how ultimately, I mean, you can see the head and shoulders actually played out perfectly. One of the things that I think about the market is that there's no way the Feds can let the rates float higher. Now, again, is the world going to end and the dollar going to crash and everything proceeding as what doomsdayers expect? Well, I've been hearing that for 20 plus years, and maybe now it starts, but it's really hard to bet on that. So if you have that in your mind, have a little bit, but don't always bet on it, because it's not going to be as dirty as you think. And when it gets dirty, it'll give you time to get in. It's just one of those things. People have like this permanent bet that U.S. economy is going to collapse and the dollar is going to collapse. And it's like, yeah, the world doesn't end. Doesn't seem to have yet. And even if it does, really, how much money are you going to make? Just keep that in mind. Like, what's going to be the point of money if the world ends? Like, you don't really want to bet on that. But again, always recommend precious metals, commodities, materials, digital currencies. I am not convinced of, because they don't have the stability and the long term. I don't know what's the best way to describe it. Permanence to relatively no. Like, they're newer. We'll see. Some of them will last, and some will probably go to zero. On that note, TLT is holding. Let's get into the dollar. Again, TLT is holding the 200 month. Just watch that area. Choppy at the highs. You know, some people talk about shorting the dollar. Again, upper trend line, bottom, upper trend channel, upper channel. Now what? Shorting here was wrong. Shorting up here seems right. But like any other trade, it has to confirm. I mean, you see this a lot with trades that I do that you might think differently from what I'm thinking. I have references, and if the references seem to be mattering, I keep the trade on. But ultimately, what could happen? Dollar could rip higher, or it could fail. You know, it's obviously, I don't believe in certainty. So I have my stop. So if you were shorting the dollar up here, seems pretty obvious. You need to get below 27.50, and if you're bullish, you need to get over 27.78. It's pretty wide range for the dollar, but at this point, it is overbought, and shaking out weak hands is not a big deal. The VIX, we talked about this yesterday, hit our trend line, posted this on Twitter. Again, if you're not following Twitter, probably worth it, because I post the trades there if you're not in the Discord room. Close at the lows. Anyone surprised? Is anyone really surprised that the VIX came down and the buddy pass system, you know, they just really tried to, again, pick a bottom that was so friendly. I've never seen such a friendly bottom with the market. Like, that was just, it's just that action. And let's get into it. Yesterday, it wasn't a capitulation. I joked with friends. I'm like, that's a capitulation bottom, like a big gap down and then bring back up. A big, after a straight line, big long wick. Yesterday's action, if you watched it, personally, it just felt way too coordinated, way too, like, everybody was there to buy the dip. And again, if your mindset is wired so that you know that the market's trying to take the most amount of money from the most amount of people, you don't trust this. Now look what you have, a long wick and a long wick. So as I said on the weekend market recap, please trade the extremes. If you traded the extremes, you're doing pretty good. Just raise more cash. Like, try not to predict what the feds are going to say. Play the reaction, because if, and I say this all the time, in a trap, the first direction is the side being trapped. If the market goes up into the feds, beware, look for shorts. If the market gets smashed, it's hard to say with the monthlies in the positions they are, you might expect a bounce. But just be aware where we are, where we come from, what are we doing? Looks like we're making lower highs and lower lows. We went on a straight line move. Always say about the market, oh, what happens if they're gonna be dovish? Let's say they don't think they're gonna raise rates as fast because now they're admitting a slowdown. Well, are they admitting there's a recession coming? Because that wouldn't be market bullish. Are they admitting that raising rates is gonna hurt? Well, that's not bullish. I've seen this trap they've been in before, very similarly in the sense that going into 2008, you know, they're saying, oh, housing's starting to collapse. They can't raise rates. Well, they just started pulling liquidity because the market was over, you know, they just like they're doing now. They were pulling liquidity because that was their plan. And they were, you know, as rates were rising. And I mean, the best way to describe it ultimately is once the spigot turns off of complacency, in the market just going to go higher, and that they're going to provide, you know, the runway for the fuel or the liquidity, that's when the market's not going to hold up, because the bigger the bubble that more liquidity they pump in, it has a reverse effect. When it gets pulled out, it just boom. And again, notice how we held the trend line. You're welcome. Again, if you're watching these videos, you're seeing this stuff. You're not surprised yesterday when it bounced. I didn't play the upside move. I haven't been feeling well. Feeling a lot better today. Probably should have. Again, I don't hit every trade, but I don't feel like the upside trade has much legs. What I would be thinking, and this is why this blue zone is here, if you really, really, really want to short the market, let it come to you. And you can say it's like 420 to 405 to 428. I would like to think it gets up there, but what if it only gets to 420? How ironic would that be for some traders? I don't know. However, I mean, you can trade the extremes, you can pick your positions, but you can't bank on certainty in this point in the market. I hope that helps. The rants are long because there's a lot to understand. Like if you're new to trading and you're just looking at the FOMC meeting going, oh, well, it's not a big deal. No, it's absolutely a big freaking deal. Qs, again, below the 20-month. I don't need to go to the monthly. Check it out, below the 20-month. We were chopping at the lows. We hit the 8-day, backed off. It's just in trading lower, 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 lower. Now, again, near term, what could happen? This doji action proceeded to go up. Now you come down. Now you have a doji up. I don't think the big tech names have the support that they once did. Keep in mind, you're below the 20-month. I've said I think we're getting to at least 300 at some point. And again, repeat, I don't think we've capitulated. Like that action on Monday. Come on. That is not a capitulation bottom. That looks a little more capitulatory. Would we not agree? That even looks a little more capitulatory. This looks like just a pause. Now, again, if you're familiar with like pukes, let's get down to some like, you want to see some pukes that I trust were bottoms? I'll show you a puke. Okay, here you go. COVID puke. Big gap, pop. Big gap again. You knew you were near the bottom down here. That was capitulation. That big monster gap down after 2 monster gap downs, you just knew it was going to get choppy and sloppy. Notice what happened at the bottom. It wasn't a straight line move up either. Let's go back and look at 2018 because that's the last time the Feds were tightening up. Oh yeah, into the Christmas. I remember this, the holiday smash. Even then, down, gap. God, it's, again, remember it's all relative. Down, 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 gap, pop. Okay, keep in mind, let's go back to the present day. You tell me again, does that action really look like capitulation? To me, it looks like bull trap. Head and shoulders top. Remember, we talked about this. Here it is. Head and shoulder trap, top. Blah, blah, blah. Right there. You see it? Left shoulder, right shoulder. No, that's the head. Right shoulder was much lower. Didn't even get back to the shoulder line. Look what happened. We're bouncing back above. That is the worst thing for bulls. Because, again, if you want to get bullish, think about what you want. You want to see a wipeout. You want to see an absolute wipeout. Like, this is not wipeoutish action. Wipeoutish action is like 10 red days in a row. This is some red days, chop. Some red days, chop. Red day, chop. That's not wipe out the bears or wipe out the bulls, because that's ultimately the goal is to wipe out the bulls if you're going to capitulate to go up. IWM, same thing. We've talked about this. Doesn't really feel that capitulatory. Like, I want to see big moves. The VIX in the 30s doesn't feel like the soft landing or the hard landing finish. I hope that makes sense. When I say the Feds have never navigated a soft landing, think about how an hard ending feels. It feels rough and not easy to stand. You know, it's going to make a mess everywhere. Like, that's what I mean for a hard landing, and we're just not there. Now, again, if you go back to the past, you see it's just lagging. What did we say was always on the table for the QQQ? Let me show you the monthly again, just so you have this in the back of your head. Is always possible, so you don't just short relentlessly and go, oh, well, what's happened? Here was a capitulation bottom in the was it April of 2020, if I remember right? Yes. April of 2020, you had that big up, and then boom, look at that. This thing went from 120 to 63. That was capitulation short term. Look what happened. You bounce back to fail later. Let's actually do some historical drawing, because again, if you're watching this channel and you're new and you're like, what is he talking about? Let's look at where the fibs were. Just curious. Okay, got over the 618. It did, and then it failed. I'm trying to remember this time frame. For me, it's been a long time. Anyway, just keep that in mind. You want to see that capitulation bottom to wipe out bulls. And if it is going to be a bear market, there will be a solid rally. I promise you that. When the summer probably really depends. Just don't get too bullish now, because we haven't wiped out the bears and the bulls. Sorry, not the bulls. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, you have to knock out Jordan and the Chicago Bulls out of the playoffs. It's hard to do. When they go out of the playoffs, it's a wipeout. All right, gold. What have I said? Leave it the freak alone. Just leave it alone. I know it's bullish. I know it's a big head and shoulders, but I don't mind this monthly stuff. And again, when you get into the seasonality of the second quarter, I say it's over and over, it's crappy. I mean, I've drawn out kind of how I feel like it's going to play out next couple months. It's going to get pop and it's going to flop and then a pop and then it's going to flop. Even if it doesn't, I don't care. Because you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to highlight this for everybody at home. Let's call it the green line. Because if you can get over this, then it's a bull market. And it's been months. It's been absolute months and months. Years of a cup and handle. When it breaks out, it's not going to be a small move. I don't mind missing a couple, $100 on gold if I think it's going to break out to $500, $600 up, $2,500, $2,600. You tell me. But if a monthly head and shoulders, or not head and shoulders, cup and handle is playing out, that thing should be a monster runner. So I don't want to be early because I know gold, if the Fed's trying to wipe out, or not the Fed's, the market maker trying to capitulate the market, it could look like this. I mean, I'm trying to warn people, like, this is the potential action you can get, or it turns into this and it just goes boom. And again, last March and the second quarter was not normal because, again, you were ending a downtrend. Everyone was predicting lower second quarter, and actually look what it did. But that's what I'm just trying to make people warn them about. And again, that was FOMC. I mean, that was the COVID lows. But even look what happened. It just went nowhere. And again, that's what I'm anticipating, is a nowhere. And if a nowhere is the trade, it's a no own. Like, I don't care. I don't want to sit here and watch gold, silver, and the miners grow like grass. I don't want to watch it. There's going to be other stuff that moves. I don't think the downside in gold is huge. I've said that over and over. I would say the 170 area, maybe it comes back. I mean, maybe it comes back over here to, like, put all these trend lines together. Maybe it comes back into the 165s and look at the time frame, June. I don't know. That's, again, FOMO is going to screw you, because if you hold this stuff and it goes nowhere and you watch the market tank, or you see a bull market rally and gold goes absolutely nowhere, you, my friend, are going to be the person like me in the past who's been stuck, who wants to put a gun to the head going, wow, I could have done this. I could have done that. And what did you end up doing? Nothing. You missed out on all the great opportunities. That's what's going to happen. Silver, in my opinion, I could be wrong, but you had the upper zone. We said it would bounce here in the no-brainer buy zone. Not surprised. But then again, today, a doji. Again, we talked about this, watch previous videos. I told you guys, once this stuff failed to make higher highs, and then it just started going, it was like, ooh, we couldn't even hold here, which was my first target. Like, that's technical damage has been done, Captain. The ship is sinking. Abandoned ship. Don't get back on it. There's another silver ship coming, or you can get on this one and watch it sink to go nowhere. Or maybe it runs dry and hits the beach. Like, just leave it alone. GDX, again, people, my best trader friends are gold and silver bugs like myself. I love this stuff long run. But guess what? When it's not time to own it, it's not time to own it. The time to own it every year, keep in mind, we'll do this every year if you follow me. It's always mid-December into March. Always mid-December into March. I know it went a little higher, but hey, would you have taken 28 to 38, 48, or 40, 38 to 40 area? You bet your ass you would. We predicted this. Go watch the previous videos in this time frame. Said, watch, when you get up to the top range, fail. Well, we got to the top range. Why did it matter? It's old resistance, my friends. And it's seasonality. It just is what it is. I mean, I wish, yeah, that's an April smush. Again, here's an April pullback into May and June. Here's an April chop to flop. Again, it just didn't go anywhere. All right, I'm done. Sorry, I can't. I sometimes say to myself, like, just do it. No, you have to do it. I know why I say these things. You have to figure this out. I've pointed out multiple times. GDXJ, I'm glad it hit back, tested the trend line, and pounced. I just don't trust it here. Let's run through all these names real quick. Just don't buy them. Watch them. AG got to the blue zone like in no time. We talked about in the previous videos in mid-April. I'm like, why is AG not rallying up to new highs with the other miners? Right back. Now watch it. Hopefully it hangs out here. Maybe it pops. Again, leave it alone. Just leave it alone, man. Leave it alone. People won't. They'll be like, oh, it popped a point. And I'm like, great. AAM, great earnings. Great earnings. Look at that pop on earnings. It went from 55 up to 60. Gave it all back. Telling you, If you are not watching the action, then you are burying your head and you're thinking, oh, it's always going to get better. Pass. Pass on it. Leave it alone. Like it long term, but man, get it back in the 21 area. Someone was going to nail that thing. That's a great buy. Newmont. Same thing. We said this action was like, it just felt very stretched. We checked out the monthly. Oh, did I just close that file? Awesome. That's not good. Let's go to tools. I guess I deleted the chart. Well, we'll fix that afterwards. That's no bueno. All right, restarting. But we had a little issue with the charts. Had to reload them, close some charts that I shouldn't have. Again, I'm going to go back to the Discord room. People who are watching this video that are newer, please check out the side rooms. Tons of interesting stuff to read, reference articles, recommended reading, volume price analysis, alerts, daily recaps are all here for you. Your back to basics video, options chat. Now, again, I don't post a lot of options chats because most people don't know how to trade options and they're going to blow up their accounts. That's guaranteed. However, I will be navigating that stuff for you guys to help out in time. All right, 60-minute chart. Let's go back our monthlies. Where were we at? Why are you so big, dog? Newmont. Newmont, that's where we're going. Pass on it. Newmont, same thing. Just leave it alone. I apologize for the candidness in this trading, or this video, but we're all friends here. Channel low at some point is going to break. I don't trust this on the monthly. Watch it for the 43s. This company's earnings are barely up with gold up. I mean, they need to buy another miner. They need to buy exposure. That's not ideal. They're going to have to rack up more debt. Let's move into the metals, or the metals and miners, commodity section of this video. X, what did we say? Little M, we sold at the 200 month. If you are new and you don't think we did, check out the videos. We said watch the 200 month. Watch the zone. We are getting back into it. Now, I promise you, this is the old highs. That range was the old here. I mean, let me expand this thing down because you can see very clearly, like it could be, you can take it all the way down to here, 27s. On a market crash, not even a market crash, a liquidation break, the letter X could get down to 26s or 27s. That's all. That's what you need. That's, to me, the buy point. Their earnings were amazing. Great quarter. But look at the reaction. This is how you know you're in a correction, is when companies like AEM, shit, even AMD after hours had great earnings, not acting that good. Why? Because there's not an underlying bid under the market. I'm trying to warn people that when that bid is dwindling, and once it maxes out and the pain maximizes, then the market makers will step up and start buying stocks at a wholesale level to mark up later. And you and I and everybody on the Discord room, we will all be laughing when everyone's puking. Not laughing, but just remembering the times that we've all been caught in that trap where we sold low versus buy low, because that's why we have cash. And that's why we're shorting. VALE, same thing. I mean, I'm going to rip through these stocks because they are just all look like you shouldn't buy them. They're overdue for a pop. Yep, I get it. CCJ is holding the trend line. Again, the trend line that I care about is the back test of this one. I think that's the trend line you look for. The 200-day, 22, 23 area. Mosaic, CF. Hey, nice bounces, guys. Nice. Very strong action today. Look at that. Watch the 20-day. Again, I like these stocks on dips, but along the way, in a downtrend, this feels more like a bull. Look, I mean, you never saw an up move of that magnitude in one day. You got it. Is that bullish or is that a bear trap? Bear pop. Bear pop. Hey, what does a bear drink? Bear pop. I think it's a bear pop. Meaning, if you're not familiar with bear markets, there are strong mega rallies during a bear market, meaning that shorts get squeezed and everybody piles into something. Today's action at 60 feels like a pile in. CF, same thing. Let's run through these quick. I apologize if these videos are too long for you, but there's a lot to talk about. If you're really trying to learn, this content is gold. I know it is. 20-day, nice pop. Nah, leave it alone. AMD, after hours. Great earnings. Let's see what they're doing. Let's go to the videotape. Hey, 95. Awesome. I've got some resting orders at 96 for small, and I really want the 100 level. The 100 level is my short dog level. I mean, you can see it. Let me expand it out. Like, that's the old lows. I want to see a test of that because I know that level will bring out what? The sellers. The sellers that are waiting, trying to get back to even. So we'll see. Again, AMD, if you don't know that pass to the stock, and most don't because they're new to trading, and I get it. I mean, how do you know the past of something you never pay attention to? This stock has had many a bull markets and slams. Bull and slam. Like, this is what this company does. Oh my God, look at that mountain. You think this is not the next iteration of bull slam? Bull slam on ESPN 8 at 9 o'clock. No, it's gonna get pop, and then you look to short it. It's really that simple. Please be safe. I know people are gonna be like, oh, I wouldn't short it. And like, well, you don't have to short it, but don't own it blindly, unlimitlessly forever, knowing that it can have 99% corrections, 95%, unless they get bought out by Intel, which then Intel becomes the next version of AMD. Oh man, Apple, this is a disgusting chart. We shorted the pop on earnings. People who don't know what I'm talking about, go watch, stop at the Discord room, put out a video about it, or not a video, post about it. It popped up to here, but this is the short area after hours. It's like begging for it. Got it. Again, haven't done anything other than took a little bit off yesterday. I mean, anticipating a bounce. Like that action, you see this wick and it gets above that action, you have to trail stop. I did. Again, I can't pay attention and do everything at once. You're going to find out the same, that if you're trying to post your trades and your actions and you're creating videos and you're doing a bazillion things, some of it gets lost in translation. So if you're ever in a trade and you're like, Dan, you're short Apple, what do? Stop by the Discord room and hit me over the head and ask me what I'm doing. Because if you don't ask, I don't care to say it. I can't talk about everything all the time. So at this point, we took some off. This pop feels weak sauce. But hey, we're back in at one. We got some more at 169. We got some up here in the 170s. Just let it run. Like when Apple corrects, which it does, just takes time. First target is ultimately like 150, and it could go lower. The market gets weaped out. Facebook tried to short this one and stopped out. Again, we lose. I mean, I'm not sitting here saying, oh, you're always right. But we had references. We had the 20-day and the 50-day. Let me zoom in. Let me open it up for you can see it better. The short was the long wick. The short popped, stopped out. Stopped out yesterday. You had to. Now it's making a higher high. Now what? Now what? Okay. I mean, I'm not going to say this for a fact, but let's kind of draw some stuff here and just see if it all lines up, because sometimes it does. Trying to see if it lines up to this fib. Let me draw this. Again, this is how you learn. And I always tell you, if you watch the full videos, you're going to see me update these charts because I don't trade with them. So you will see how I draw stuff. Let's look at the obvious action. Like this has been in a bear market. Gap down. Again, usually gaps end in threes. Gap one. Not gap 2 or 3. I mean, you got a lot of move lower potentially. I really can't even draw a fib. It's just in a channel. And if it gets to the channel highs, I mean, again, if you see 230, you call me, text me, DM me, because that should be the short. As of right now, I do like it for the short near term, because if you look and you zoom out, this 210 to 220 area is resistance. Now, again, how you want to play it, as I say with anything, know your plan, know your risk and reward. I like it here to short, but it doesn't mean it can't go to 215. Doesn't mean it can't go to 220. I stopped out, and so I will be on red alert to reload. That's what we do when we're stopped out of a trade. We don't just give up on a trade that seems obvious, because we know what happens. There's traps. There's traps. And if we're wrong, we give up. You know, you only give yourself so many tries. MicroStrategy. Oh my God, we talked about it in the trend break. You're gone. Now after hours, they had their earnings. Let's see how it's doing. 340. Flat. Again, the stock is dead. It's dead. I'm sorry. It's dead. Gap 1. Gap 2. Gap 3. Huh? Okay. Yep. 3s. Big gaps. Keep it simple. Leave it alone. This thing might get removed from the recaps because it's just a permanent dud. Roblox. This feels like it's going to get bought out sometime. Don't act like you didn't hear it here first. Holding at the lows. I don't really have a trade. You could buy it and stuff it in your IRA, or just be aware that you have a stop somewhere. Please have a stop. Oh, Tesla. We talked about this in the Discord room, and a lot of people, not in the Discord room, are like, oh, I think it's bullish. And it's like, we're back testing the trend break. 200-day. Your short is the 50-day. Your confirmation is lower. really that simple. If the tech market is losing its fuel because of higher interest rates, tech can't borrow cheaply. Tech multiples shrink because they don't have dividends. Keep in mind, when rates go higher, people have competition for their money. Whether they have the fixed interest rate that's guaranteed or the volatility of tech, people jump into interest rates or bonds or fixed income, and they rotate out of tech. They did this out in the 2000s, folks. It got absolutely smashed. Just trust it. PENN, just keep an eye on it. You get up near 940, you can take it. PENN Gaming they just got announced after hours. I saw where they're going to be put as an initiative on the California election board to allow gambling. Well, if they get over the 20-day, maybe that's what they're popping on. This thing is another one that might be threatened to be removed because it's not doing anything. I mean, I hate stocks that don't move, because if you own stocks that don't move, you're wasting your damn time. EXPI finally catching some juice. No, I mean, I like it down here. Again, I've showed you guys on the monthly. I know we're doing well, but we broke, and you had stops. I've got permanent shares because I can't sell them yet. If I would, I could, but I mean, hold on, something just seemed a little sneaky to me. Again, you get the bonus. I'm drawing the stuff live. Okay, that was the trend line. I'm just wondering if there's look out. I mean, this thing went to 90. I can't imagine. There's probably agents who bought shares in the 80s and 90s who were just like, you just never sell, YOLO. And it's like, okay, well, be aware. I've said this multiple times. I would love to see it in the 10 range. I don't know. There's a million ways to like draw this. It's not, don't bottom fish this, but I think at some point this company's doing well. I know that for a fact, but it doesn't guarantee anything. It doesn't guarantee anything. UTHR, this was an interesting one because I saw this thing today. I was watching, I'm like, is it going to get back up to this channel? Nah, no, nothing. Again, the market today, tons of indecision. Let's end it with the XOP. And again, if you've gotten this far, I did an in-depth analysis earlier today on XOP. Great trade. Actually, let's break it down again. All right, what do we know here? Hold the 50-day, popped. We said start looking at short in the 20-day. I got in early because it did short-armed multiple times. It short-armed the 20-day by like pennies. So I got in the 20-day, I got stopped out. Went a little higher. Doesn't mean it's over. Why? IPO price. 100-month, 0.382. Last month, doji indecision. Doesn't mean you can't pop back. What is forming here? Potentially a head and shoulders top. If you look at the hourly, we're at the 0.618. Fib. It's a great opportunity to short it. Took it. Went large. Took some money off. Got trail stopped out while I was recording the video and got about a quarter of what I want in this scalp to swing kind of position. I've got more from previous levels up higher, which again, if you follow the channel, you know we got in up here at the highs and relatively the highs and traded around it, expecting lower prices. Now again, everyone's like, whoa, how are you shorting oil? Are you suicidal? Well, if everybody feels that I am suicidal for shorting oil, then I feel even more, I would say the word would be confident that the market makers are setting the media up. And you're going to be like, why do you do that? Why do you say that? We'll show you in a second. Exxonmobil, same thing. This thing popped today. It was very interesting. They sold some assets to Czech Republic. Can't remember. Somewhere in Europe. They were like, we don't want oil in Europe, which I don't blame them. Back up here at the chop range highs. We'll see what happens. Is this going to be a lower low? Finally. All right. What did I just say? We'll go into the rules. Now you're sticking around. Thank you for watching. Again, if you need to go, go. Here's what I want to talk about real quick. So we have in the reference articles, I want you to look up. There's the monthly, there's the annual repeating patterns. Oh, it's already there twice. Volume price analysis. And a coin. If you want link for the affiliate link to buy the book, if you want to chip off $1 for your friend here for helping you out, that's what you use. Use the affiliate link, buy this book, Anna Cooling's Volume Price Analysis. In rule number 5, in order to employ ever-increasing financial resource, specialists will often affect price declines of ever-increasing dimensions in order to shake out of stock. All right. At some point, that's where you get the capitulation. I'm not there yet, right? So let's go through the rules. Some of these will make sense. Advances will be more dramatic to the upside to attract public interest in order to distribute the ever-increasing accumulating inventories. Holy shit. Do not people remember in 2000s where the XOP was trading at 20 and 30, where they could have got Exxonmobil at 25? Do not think that at the lows, the opposite mindset was oil was done. We're never going to need oil again. Now we're back at the highs. Oil is a must. Just telling you. That's what has me dabbling and looking into shorting this stuff, because again, why? I know for a fact that we're in rule number 6. I just don't know how far we go. And again, just keep in mind, the most active stocks will require longer periods of time to distribute. How long has gold been gone sideways? 8, or it's not gold, oil, 8, 10 weeks now? Hope this kind of stuff helps. Please stop by the Discord room. If you're not a member, I don't know what you're waiting for. If you like the content, please share it with friends or people who want actually help. As I always say, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. I was taught that previously, and I was also a member of Trader Florida.net one point. Love the guy. He's very, I would say, he's mellowed out, harsh. I used to be harsh on people too, but I get it. Trading isn't easy, and if you want a friend, I'll try to be a friend, but the market's not our friend. I hope you realize, that people realize, the personality of the market is to take your money, not to give it to you. Let's talk later. Long-winded, I apologize, but there's a lot to learn here. Again, if you ever want to just get to certain points, the stocks are in a order every day. So if you don't want to watch the whole video, check out a certain. Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to help support more free content, the PayPal link is in the description as well. I appreciate your continued support of the channel.